What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Last Week in the NBA, the show where we focus on everything that happened this last week around the association. And I know, we haven't quite moved on from the last 24 hours, but we're going to try to recap everything from this last week. Let's jump into it. And that brings us back here to the spreadsheet. It always comes back to the spreadsheets on this channel. That's what this channel was built off of. That and Bleacher Report articles written by other people. That's what we do on this channel. For those of you that aren't familiar, I like to build these spreadsheets as a way to kind of help articulate and visualize the videos a little bit more. So we're going to cover a bunch of different things on it. We're going to cover some of the top performing players of this week. We're going to take a look around the association to see who's performing towards the top of their game. We've got some news and a lot of news to cover this week and some highlights. We have a rookie report, we have a standings update, and then we'll do a comment to the video and everything at the end because you know what? You guys are leaving a lot of comments right now. But anyway, let's start getting into our player highlights of the week. The first player I want to highlight this week is Bam Adebayo over here for the Miami Heat. Now, Bam in this last week, about 26 points a game, about 7 assists and 10 rebounds, getting you a steal and almost a block and a half per game, 61% from the field, 44% from three. This was during 3 games where he was playing 40 minutes a night for the Miami Heat. Now, the Miami Heat have been struggling more as of late. Believe it or not, all the Jimmy Butler stuff is still happening. I know our minds are in different places. I promise we'll talk about it later in the video. I promise you. We will. This is a reminder to make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment to my YouTube channel, and I intend to keep on doing so. But anyway, Bam, he's awesome, right? He's been awesome. A little bit more of a down year for Bam just in general. When you look at some of the numbers, 16 points, 10 rebounds, which is still really good in that sense, but the efficiency's been pretty bleh for him. He settles for a lot of shots that you just don't really want to see. But as of late, since they've introduced the rookie, Mr. Kel'el Ware, in here, who's having a good rookie season right now, like efficient and putting up some nice statistics behind him, and then Bam's been able to play more of a mobile player. We're starting to see his stats kick up a little bit, so going to be interesting if they just plan on playing these two next to each other for the foreseeable future. But regardless, Bam's an awesome player. Defensively, still one of the best we have in basketball. It's going to be really interesting to see what the Heat try to do to remain competitive post-Jimmy Butler trade. Next player to highlight here, we got another big man. It's Ivica Zubac over here for the Clippers in this last week with 3 games, 20 points per game, a little over 2.5 assists, 16 rebounds per game. The rebounding numbers this season on people have been insane. As you can see, Zubac comes in here at number 4 on the rebounds per game leaders this season, then 62, almost 63% from the field. And Zubac is one of the best defensive players that we have in basketball at this point. Just like his steadiness for the team is insane. I mean, if we go and look at him just like over here, we can go look at minutes per game, because if Zubac is playing about 32 minutes per game right now, let's go over and find him. He's going to be somewhere on this list around here. I never do the paid version for this stuff. Just like I have it on a different computer, so I don't have it on this one, but he's 80th percentile in offense and 99th percentile defensively. Zubac might be a DPOY like dark horse. Like, he probably won't win it because he's not as flashy and he doesn't get the blocks, which is like a big stat for defensive player of the year. But I think a lot of us know the impact that he has. Like, this is the definition of an anchor at the end of the day. This guy does so much for a Clippers team that is really performing well despite a lot of things going against him. And he's got like probably the best post-up game in basketball right now. Like, it's literally just like, okay, I'm a lot heavier than you. I'm just gonna back you down and score over you. And he's just so big and strong. It's awesome. So shout out Zubac, man. He's been awesome. Next guy, we're moving on to more of a forward here, but we have PJ Washington for the Dallas Mavericks. And you're like, ooh, Dallas Mavericks. Isn't that a fun conversation right now? Yeah. We'll talk about it. So looking at PJ Washington this last week, 22 points per game. This was across 3 games, by the way. 12 rebounds a game, 4 assists, a steal, almost a block and a half, 53% from the field, 56% from 3 on the season. PJ Washington's having another good season, man. 14 points, another one. Like, last year was really his first like big successful stretch because he got off the Charlotte Hornets, and that helped a lot. But 14.5 points per game. This is playing with a Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. 8.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, over a steal and a block per game, shooting well from 3. PJ Washington's a very valuable player to this team. We all know the floor spacing that he brings is very valuable. I think a lot of us know that PJ Washington could probably bring more to the team, even with like Luka and Kyrie on the team, if they just kind of let him have a little bit more ball handling responsibility, because he does have a lot of talent. He's very good defensively. He's just a really underrated player. And now Now we will mention it now that Luka Doncic is gone. Anthony Davis is in, right? What do they do with the lineup? Does PJ Washington go to the bench? Do they play him at the 3? Like what happens at this point, right? Do they make a different trade or something like that? We don't know. Does the offense become a little bit more free-flowing now that Luka's not there, right? And it's an Anthony Davis. And so maybe PJ Washington does get to have the ball a little bit more and we get to unlock him just a little bit more. I'm very, very curious to see the effect that has. What can Jason Kidd and the Mavericks actually draw up, especially on such short notice? Because I've been told they had no clue that this was going to happen. So I am very, very curious to see. By the way, for those that don't know, these are weekly stats over here. If you couldn't read, year stats over here. So yeah, PJ Washington, awesome season. Final name to talk about, which is a guy we have not talked enough about on this channel, and that is Trey Murphy III for the Pelicans. Now, the Pelicans have had a complete disaster of a season, a complete disaster. It has been horrible for them. But if there is one thing that we have learned about the New Orleans Pelicans, it's that Trey Murphy is awesome. Trey Murphy is awesome. This last week, 29 points a game, almost 4 assists, 6 rebounds, over a steal per game, getting close to a block. He hit 2/3 of his shots overall, and he shot 54% from 3. That's amazing, right? That's across 3 games, playing almost 40 minutes a night. On the year, Trey Murphy's getting you about 22 points a game, 5 rebounds. This is a big step up, man. This is probably a MIP player as well, right? I immediately think him, Cade Cunningham, Norman Powell, right? Like those are the kind of the ones that come to mind the most right now. And look, like the Pelicans are really bad, right? They're really, really bad. Injuries, like nobody can even fathom at this point. But overall, Trey Murphy, we've discovered, is a great player. There's not many guys that can glide through the air and take off from anywhere and put you on a poster, but be so deadly from 3 as well. And you're starting to see him develop more like off the dribble and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, this is a really valuable asset than a kind of that 6'7", 6'8" wing that can do that. It's an incredible talent, and he's been balling this whole year, and we haven't given him enough credit. So we want to take the time and shout out Trey Murphy, man. That was awesome. But yeah, let's go take a look around the association and take a look at our stat leaders. Alrighty, so some of the qualifiers that we have on these stats: you have to have at least played in 30 games, you have to take at least 5 shots per game, and take at least 3 threes if you want to end up on the 3-point or field goal list. Just taking a look at this last week, these were your top scorers from this last week. Nothing out of the ordinary. Franz is up on this list. He was pretty inefficient. Both him and Paolo, you can see here, while 30 points per game for Franz, it was incredibly inefficient the whole time. They're kind of still trying to get back into things. Him and Paolo, again, pretty rough weeks for those guys in terms of just like pure shooting of the basketball, but that's okay. Zion Williamson's kind of just like back to dominating. So for all of you that said like, oh, Zion, like, you know, who's going to trade that many picks for him? Well, maybe we don't trade picks for star players anymore. Maybe we don't know, actually. But Zion's still an incredible talent at this point. He is still unstoppable when he wants to be. Points per game leaders on the year: Shea still sitting number 1. You got Giannis number 2. Jokic, LaMelo Ball, who didn't make the All-Star team. We'll talk about it a little bit. Tyrese Maxey, who I think Tyrese Maxey had a better efficiency season. I never check these things beforehand. I tell you guys all the time, I just read box scores all the time, and so we'll see how well I'm actually remembering things. All right, there we go. We like to see that. Yeah, 38 points per game on some crazy efficiency. He definitely could have been one of the highlights of the week this week. I try to highlight different players from time to time and bring more attention to other people. So, you know, is what it is. Then we got Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards. Looking at the assists per game, we still got Trae Young up there. Nikola Jokic still. Cade Cunningham just made his first All-Star team. Congratulations. LeBron. We'll see if that number starts to decrease now that he has a new teammate and has no center to pass to anymore. And then Tyrese Halliburton's been playing a lot better as of late. I believe he would have been a good person to have as player of the week as well. Yeah, look at him, like 25 or 24 points per game, 8.5 assists, almost 6 rebounds, shot it really well from 2 games this year, or from 2 games this week. Amazing. Rebounds per game: Domas Sabonis, who is just an absolute unit this year. Like, take a look at these Domantas Sabonis stats, by the way. 21 points per game, 6.5 assists, 14 rebounds. Second year in a row he's leading the NBA in rebounds at a crazy statistic. 60% from the field, 47% from 3. He didn't make the All-Star team. That's stupid. That is just stupid. I'm being real with y'all. I can't believe he didn't make that team. That's awful. That's just awful. That is I usually don't say, oh, snubs. Like, that's a snub. That's crazy. Then we got Kat with his rebounds, Nikola Jokic, Ivica Zubac, who we talked about earlier, and Giannis. Moving on to steals per game, Dyson Daniels, again, just ultimate defensive force, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the rest of the Thunder players, not a surprise at all. DeJounte Murray, who we'll talk about him later in the video as well. Rest in pieces, my friend Nikola Jokic, because he's just everywhere. Tyrese Maxey, amazing, right? And then again, you'd see a bunch of Thunder players below that. Blocks per game, Wemby will never be touched in this. Walker Kessler, Anthony Davis, new home. We'll see if that changes at all now that there's a couple other centers on the team. What happens with that number? Brook Lopez, and then Miles Turner, who is on the trading block, but we know he's not actually on the trading block. Basically, people were like, oh, Miles Turner's on the trading block. So, yep, you guys say this every year. I'm not falling for it. Not falling for it. You're not going to see me mock up a trade for that guy. Nope, not going to make me look stupid on the internet. But also, everybody's available for trade nowadays, aren't they? Aren't they? Field goal percentage leaders. Walker Kessler doing his thing, right? Jared Allen, yep. And then we have two of the three now Dallas Mavericks centers between Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively. Derek Lively going to be out for a while, so we'll see. And then Jalen Duren, who's always in that mix as well. Really awesome offensive season for him in that sense. Our 3-point percentage leaders, Luke Kennard, has been absolutely torching this year. If we go take a look at Luke Kennard's numbers overall, 10 points and just shooting the shit out of the basketball. It's awesome. Jokic again. John Collins. Look at that. John Collins has entered the list. That's new for us. Some of these big men are stroking this year. 18 points per game, 8 rebounds. Y'all forgot about John Collins. This is 2 years in a row where he's been kind of balling out for the Jazz. Throw this guy in another team, man. Like, let's see this guy ball out somewhere in the playoffs. Super talented player. Again, one of those guys that can spray and can leap above everybody else. Really cool. Taurean Prince, who's been awesome this whole season, continues to hit, and Zach LaVine is having a just ridiculous offensive season. One of the best offensive seasons we've ever seen in basketball history, honestly. Like, the amount of like analytical categories he's like leading in by like a huge margin is absolutely nuts. Whether it's like ISO scoring, catch and shoot scoring, like it's like off the dribble shooting or whatever, transition, I know he's number 2 in the NBA or whatever, like, and just the numbers he's putting up, crazy. But anyway, let's go talk about the news and the highlights, man. I got a lot of tabs up here for us to cover. First thing to cover here, the dunk contest. We have our final dunk contest participants, and basically, yeah, Mac McClung is back. So, yeah, we had kind of a weird one at first, because who was it? It's Buzelis, Stephon Castle, and Andre Jackson Jr. was the other one for the Bucks. Now we have Mac McClung. Well, if Mac McClung's there, at least it'll be somewhat interesting, right? We'll see if Mac McClung can go get a three-peat. Have we ever had a three-peat? Ever? I don't actually know. I don't know the lore of the dunk contest like that. It's not something I particularly care about. But at least now I think it'll be somewhat interesting, because I wasn't that excited about the other three particularly. They felt like more so in-game dunkers rather than anything else. But Mac McClung, he'll probably have some crazy shit. He'll probably have some crazy shit to talk about. Now, we've got the Rising Stars roster that got dropped. For those of you that don't know, basically it's a rookie-sophomore game, and it's changed up a little bit, so there's going to be a little bit of a tournament. The rookies it's like the rookies and sophomores are going to play each other or something like that, and then there's also going to be a G League team put together, and we'll go through the rosters and everything, and the winner of this little tournament gets to play in the All-Star tournament, because there's going to be 3 All-Star teams technically, and then the 4th team to play in the tournament will be the winner of all of this. So kind of a cool format. So you have Bub Carrington from the Wizards, who this rookie one's going to be rough, because these guys haven't had a great season. Sorry, Bub Carrington. Stephon Castle makes a ton of sense. Maybe not the most efficient. Well, we'll talk about rookies and everything later, so I'll just name them off. Tristan Da Silva, Zach Edey, Dalton Knecht, Jared McCain, who is injured, Yves Missy, Risa Shea, who's now back, Alex Sarr, Jalen Wells, Bilal Coulibaly. Now we're getting in the sophomores, Grady Dick, Keontae George, Scoot Henderson, Trace Jackson Davis, Jaime Jaquez, Derek Lively, who is also hurt, Brandon Miller, who is hurt, Amen Thompson, Kaysen Wallace, Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Black, Tamani Kamar, Ryan Dunn, another rookie. I don't know why he's down there. Oh, he's a replacement. That's why they have him down there. Victor won't even play. It looks like that's kind of interesting. And then Asar Thompson. There we go. And then we go down to the G League players. So who's standing out in the G League? J.D. Davidson, Mac McClung again, Bryce McGowens, Leonard Miller. I know Timberwolves fans always want Leonard Miller to get out there. Pat Spencer, Dink Pate, for those of you that don't know, expected to be a maybe an early second round pick in this next mock draft. He's kind of the last guy from like those G League Ignite days, so kind of the last high school guy that's coming up through the G League. And then Reed Shepard, who's an actual rookie. So that's kind of awkward, isn't it? That's kind of awkward. Let's move on from that. Then we have Jalen Johnson is hurt for the Atlanta Hawks. Now this is an absolute shame. If we take a look at Jalen Johnson, what a season he was having. 18, 19 points per game, really starting to find his groove. 5 assists, 10 rebounds. He was shooting well from the field, wasn't quite shooting the ball well from 3, but we're starting to see some hope from there, right? 1.5 steals, a block a game. You were starting to see like the ball handling and the creativeness and just his ability to finish around the rim and everything. Like this guy was again a most improved player candidate, and now with him going down, you kind of look at the team and you go, okay, this probably changes how the Hawks attack the deadline, right? No longer, like, is this team have any real shot at competing in the playoffs, right? I mean, this was their second best player at the end of the day, right after Trae Young, and now he's done for the year. If I'm the Hawks, I'm probably just trying to lay low at the deadline. But for all I know, Brandon Ingram's going to end up on this team like we suggested they should have just done in the offseason to figure out if that was going to be a thing. And then I'm going to criticize them for that if that actually happens. But no, Jalen Johnson going down for the season. I believe it's a shoulder injury. It's pretty unfortunate. Yeah, shoulder out for the season. We wish him a speedy recovery. We really do. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had another 50 ball. We just have a rule on this channel. If somebody drops a 50 ball, they get a shout out because that's incredible. Shai is just having an amazing season. It's going to be hard for me to say that he doesn't get MVP because most metrics will tell you he probably should. And it's not, it is close. Like, it is close between him and Jokic. Most metrics would tell you it should be Shai. The basketball coach in me, even though I own an analytics company, will say, okay, but it's Jokic. He's the best player. Like, I watch the game and I know Jokic is better. Like, I just know that he is. But I can't argue with you at this point if you want to say that it's Shai, and I'm sure politics are going to get in the way of this, and Shai will do it. So shout out to him, though. 50 points in another game is crazy because he had 50 last week. So yeah, there you go. Next thing to talk about, trades. Who would have thought? Trades in this video. One day ago, Miami Heat acquire. Yeah, don't put stuff out like this. I can't believe any article I read at this point. So earlier this week, the Kings made it known that you can go get De'Aaron Fox if you want. And I said, bullshit. Why would you trade Fox now? That doesn't make any sense. What are you possibly going to get for De'Aaron Fox? Like, there's no way he gets traded. Well, with recent events, I believe everything and anything now. You can just equip my tinfoil hat right here, and I'm just gonna be looking at everything and being like, all you are traded. All of you can be traded. LeBron can be traded for a pack of Skittles on a Tuesday. I don't even know. It's scary at this point. But yeah, basically, De'Aaron Fox, which he hasn't actually said anything. He hasn't really requested a trade, but there's a lot of talk internally that Fox's agent is like, hey, look, 2026 offseason, that's when he's a free agent. He's probably just going to go sign with the Spurs because he wants to go play with Wemby. He thinks that that's going to be filthy and that they're going to be like the dynamic duo and everything. So you should probably just try to trade him now so that we can get a little bit of a pay advance. The Spurs will give him his money a little bit sooner, right? And he can go start working out with him and everything. And so now the Kings are like, gosh, shoot, we have to draw up basically like fake trades and everything to try to raise his value and stuff like that to see if we can't get something for him, because otherwise, like, the Spurs have all the leverage, right? Because they're like, well, we'll just wait for 2026 and we don't have to give you anything at all right now. Otherwise, we'll just give you a little bit, right? So the Kings are just going to have to pull off some buffoonery if they want to do this. But I still find it weird for them to be trying to trade it, because everything they've been doing for the last like 7 months is like trying to win, and now they're just going to give up. So I don't know. They've also said, like, we want a good young player, some win now players, and some draft picks. And it's like, okay, yeah, we get it. You want everything. But with the way that trades work nowadays, it's kind of hard. Next thing to talk about, Scary Terry Rozier for the Miami Heat. You know what? Let's pull up Terry Rozier's numbers really quick. 12 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. This is supposed to be the starting point guard for the Miami Heat. Not the best season overall. Not not the best season, which is weird. He feels like he should be like a guy that succeeds on the Heat, right? But it hasn't been going well for him, and not off the court either, because Terry Rozier is under investigation for illegal betting probe. Basically, they're getting him on the what's his name? Michael Porter Jr.'s brother. It begins with a J, doesn't it? I can't remember, but essentially Michael Porter Jr.'s brother. You guys can leave it in the comments or whatever. It's gonna kill me that I can't remember his name. Jonte Porter. Jonte Porter was basically betting on his own stats and everything, telling people like, "Oh, this is what I'm gonna do, and you guys can get some money off it and everything." And yeah, people take these things very, very seriously. The federal government gets in on it. You can go to jail for stuff like this because it is a federal crime and everything. And so we'll see. I don't think he's actually being charged with anything right now, so that's that just is what it is. I guess we'll see what actually happens. I think the investigation actually happened in the past or something like that, or like some time ago, so we'll see, man. I could see why maybe he's not playing so well. That dude might be stressed. He's trying to just be like, look, I'm not doing anything sketchy on the court, and if you're thinking too much, you're not going to play well. But yeah, no, I mean, you'll go to jail. You won't play in the NBA anymore. All that stuff, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Another point guard, though. The Pelicans season just gets worse and worse and worse, because DeJounte Murray, the guy they went and traded for this offseason to try to help them like push themselves into contention and stuff, is down with an Achilles injury. And that's a long and tedious recovery process for a guy that's pretty explosive as an athlete. That is an absolutely brutal blow. And look, the Pelicans season has just been riddled with bad injuries and guys going down for a certain amount of time. And we all remember the one day where they had to pull Alfred Payton off the street to basically lead the team to glory for a week there. Where is Alfred Payton's stats at for the year? Let me just pull up where Alfred Payton was at. There he is. We never even got him in a Pelicans picture here. We just this was the leader for the Pelicans for a little bit, and Alfred Payton, solid dude, solid basketball player, right? But just NBA wise, not quite it. And so, man, what a season for the Pelicans. Pelicans fans, I'm so sorry. This is rough. Zion looks great, but now they're not playing him in back-to-back games and stuff like that. And Zion was like, look, I'm just doing what they tell me at the end of the day. I get it. I totally get it. I'm sorry. It's been a tough year. It's been a tough year. Moving on, we had the All-Star rosters announced. So we already talked about the starters. For the East, you had Giannis, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Karl-Anthony Towns, all very well deserving. For the West, you had Curry, Durant, Shea, LeBron, Jokic. Makes perfect sense to me, right? Then we had the reserves announced. Jaylen Brown, yep, we picked him. Pascal Siakam, makes sense. Garland, hell yeah. Cade Cunningham, yep. Lillard, Mobley, Tyler Hero being kind of the one like surprise guy maybe there, like not surprise for us. We didn't pick him, but I'm not surprised that he's on the roster at all. Tyler Hero has had an amazing season, trying to do everything he can for the Miami Heat this year, so we definitely give some hats off to him in that one. And Kenny Atkinson being the coach, not a surprise there. For the reserves for the West, Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis, who is still in the West, but yes, they've already got it changed now. He is a Dallas Maverick. James Harden over here, which we were kind of surprised about that one. Jaren Jackson Jr., who we mistakenly left off our roster. That was dumb. Alperen Şengün, which again, no way he makes it over Domantas Sabonis. Just no way. Jalen Williams, kind of an iffy one in our eyes. Maybe a Norman Powell could fit there. And then Victor Wembanyama, of course. Mark Daigneault from the Oklahoma City Thunder being their coach. So pretty interesting. I will continue to say I can't believe 2 years in a row Sabonis has been left off for the seasons that he's having. It's just astonishing. It's astonishing. But anyway, let's get to the trades that happened in the week. You guys remember this trade, right? The trade the Jazz were involved in, right? Yeah, you guys remember this one. The Utah Jazz traded with the Clippers on Sunday, and it was quickly overshadowed by other things. Not that people cared too much about this one, but basically the trade was PJ Tucker and Mo Bamba and a couple like second round picks and stuff from the Clippers going back to the Jazz. The Jazz sent back Drew Eubanks, a center, for those of you that aren't familiar, and Patty Mills, old ass Patty Mills. And this was a really smart trade. This was a deal that basically got the Clippers a certain amount below the luxury tax, which resets the compounding luxury as in the repeater tax in the NBA. Basically, the longer you're a luxury tax team, that interest compounds and you pay more and more and more. So this resets them, right? They're going to stay below the luxury tax. They can still go play in the buyout market if they want and stay underneath the luxury tax because they're like $4.5 million, and a veteran's minimum only ever goes, it doesn't even go up to 4. So you'll be able to still get a decent player for it. You get off PJ Tucker's money. Yes, you had to give up one of the few draft capital assets that you have left, but I think it makes a ton of sense for this organization long term. So very, very smart move by them. The Jazz pick up some draft assets and stuff like that. Maybe they keep PJ Tucker on the team. Maybe they don't. We'll see, right? I'm sure they'll use Mo Bamba just as like a backup center or something like that, and we'll see if he ends up becoming anything. You can take a look at Mo Bamba this year, and it hasn't exactly been the greatest. He takes a lot of three-pointers and doesn't make them at this point in his career. This face just kind of, that's Mo Bamba's game right there. That's Mo Bamba's game. It kind of just looks like you're about to take a shit on the floor or something like that. I don't know. That looks like a toddler that just like shit himself right there. But no, Mo Bamba, like we hope that someone can unlock his game a little bit because there's certainly some stuff there. And they're taking back Drew Eubanks, which at least he's going to put pressure on the rim and stuff like that. I wouldn't call him anything like superb, but like he's serviceable by all means. He's cheap. And like I said, at least he'll like get up and down the floor and go play above the rim and stuff like that. And he's going to give a good effort because he moves well for a big man. So there you go. Pretty solid trade. All right, I think that's it for news, right? That's all we have to talk about, right? Let me get out my notes app. Because, yes, we know Luka Doncic was traded. There's 2 videos on my channel. If you haven't gone and watched it already, you feel free to go on to here. I'm not even going to link it or anything in this video. Just go watch them because, yeah, what the fuck just happened? So if you want to go see my longer takes on things, there it is. Some of the few updates that we have post the trade. I've again gone to my notes app to write them down. Luka has not yet talked to the team about it. Apparently they left him a voicemail and a text. He has not said a word at this point. I have to imagine dude is pretty shocked. It's a pretty crazy situation. Again, not going to get into all the details of it. Go watch my videos on it. I've got whole breakdowns for you and everything. The next thing, the Mavs apparently keyed in on Anthony Davis, which I think is fair. Like, I feel like I should note that in this because there's a lot of criticism that the Mavs didn't just kind of make this an open market, drive up a bidding war for it. I think it makes a lot of sense that if you're going to trade somebody of Luka Doncic's caliber, that you say, I need like this player and above to make it happen, right? Like I need to do this because they're not rebuilding, right? Like they're trying to just retool. And so I get that. I truly get that. I think it's good that they had a plan. I just think the plan was stupid at the end of the day. Like I just think it was a stupid plan. Like even if this team wins a championship this year, even if it was still stupid, because the logic will still say, okay, you won with Anthony Davis, then you could have won with Luka Doncic as well, because Luka Doncic is just on a different level, right? And like, I hope that this works out for everybody in some capacity, but this was crazy. And I know the Nico Harrison or whatever has already come out and said like, hey, the future for me is the next 3 to 4 years. 10 years from now, like when Luka could still be around and everything, you know, I'm gonna be buried at that point anyway. So kind of just fuck y'all. And it's like, whoa. Ballsy comment there, dude. Like, fair enough. I know Mavericks fans are sick. I've been reading comments and stuff, and I saw somebody say, Anthony day-to-day Davis, I don't want him on the team, which, look, Anthony Davis has been pretty healthy for a minute now, but yeah, I get the point. It's just a matter of time, it feels like always, so that's kind of crazy. The other thing is they apparently tried to trade Luka to another team 2 weeks prior. Now that's interesting, but we don't know who that is right now. So here's the thought, right? Here's the thought. Let's do this, right? Let's take a look at our top players in the NBA, right? What teams would have said no, right? Because Anthony Davis was clearly not their first option. They thought of other names first, which makes a little bit more sense, and they got turned down for them. So who turned down Luka Doncic? You're not trading Shea for Luka. You're not trading Jokic. You're not trading Wemby. You're not trading Giannis. Donovan Mitchell, probably trading him. Jaren Jackson, definitely trading him. Sabonis, Garland, Jason Tatum, that one's kind of an iffy one, right? Steph Curry, I bet you the Warriors are at least thinking about it, though, and I'd probably say Anthony Edwards is on that list. That's probably the names I would say, is that those are the teams that turned down Luka. So who was it? To me, it was like Giannis or Wemby that they tried to go get, because they're talking about defense, they want bigs and stuff like that. So to me, that's probably who they went for. I can't imagine they tried to get Jokic, right? Maybe they tried, but it just didn't work. But they're talking like defensively and stuff like that. So that's why I think Wemby and Giannis. So I don't know. I think that's crazy that not only did you trade Luka and you were dead set on a player, you actually didn't get option A even for Luka, and you didn't get a haul. It sounds dumber and dumber by the minute, man. I don't know how the Mavs organization slept last night. I don't know how. What do we have here? What else did I write? The Lakers and Mavs did everything we asked of them. Okay, so this was my thing, right? I feel like we live in like the Twilight Zone or something like that. Like, we told the Mavericks, y'all gotta trade Maxi Kleber, man. You gotta get off that money. They said, okay. You guys gotta go get another big while Derek Lively's down. They're taking notes like, okay, we can do that. And then the Lakers were like, hey, we're like, hey, you guys gotta go get a point guard. They're like, okay, we can go get a point guard, right? And they're like, yeah, no, so, and you gotta go get some more star power. They're like, okay, yeah, we can do that. And then those two teams looked at each other and they're like, okay, so yeah, we can do that. Let's just swap these people. We're like, wait, no, we didn't tell you. You can't trade Luka. And they're like, ooh, we already did it though, and we thought that's what you wanted us to do. It's like, oh no, oops, oopsie. Yeah, no, it's silly. It's silly. I've seen a lot of people talking about how the Mavericks at one point had Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic, and Kristaps Porzingis all on one team, and they let all of them go. They couldn't handle all of them. All of them fell apart in glorious fashion, and that is so true, and that is so crazy that they weren't able to maximize the talent that they had there. They got Brunson and Luka in the same draft. That's insane, and they couldn't make it work. Dallas, we're looking at y'all. We were calling you guys some of the best traders and managers out there in the NBA right now. This is sad. I hope y'all win. And then there was the Mark Cuban quote, the thing he said in 2020, which is, I'm guessing, the thing he said there, where he was like, hey, if I have to decide between my wife and Luka, I guess I'm heading to the divorce courts right now with my lawyer. Like, that's how much I love Luka. And now, in all fairness, Mark Cuban doesn't make the decisions anymore. He's simply more so an employee of the Mavericks at this point, because he did sell the team. He's a minority owner at this point. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I remember them talking about, too, we're not going to mess up the Kristaps Porzingis and Luka thing like we did with Nash and Dirk. Yeah, no, nobody's safe. Nobody's safe nowadays. That's the news, y'all. That's a lot of news, but that was the news. Let's go talk about the rookie report. All right, y'all, let's even see if we can transition to this stuff. So we're going to go through our rookies. For those of you that are curious, we've got a 30 games played minimum on this list. We have this ordered in terms of points per game because we found that's the strongest indicator of who's going to be rookie of the year. And I think it's important to note, too, that like some of these guys are probably not in the best order of where they're currently ranking in terms of rookie of the year voting and stuff, but we'll see. We'll take a look at their season performances, and then we'll talk about how they've been doing so far this week. And again, we're going to see how my box score knowledge translates to this stuff, because I never remember ahead of time. Stephon Castle is now the leader in points per game, and that's because he had a good scoring. I know he was scoring a ton this week. I know the threes were falling a decent amount, but I'm going to guess the field goal percentage is lower. Yep, 16, 17 points per game, almost 6 rebounds, 4 assists. 1.3 steals. He did shoot it well from 3. I know it wasn't a huge clip, but still, Stephon Castle, I see why Spurs fans are excited, right? And you guys should know, I'm excited about him too. Just don't think that he's like a legend or anything right now, right? Just don't think he's some legend, okay? Because he makes a lot of mistakes on the basketball court still. But he seems really smart. I think he'll figure it out. So just remember that at the end of the day, that there's a long road to go. Jalen Wells had kind of a rougher week, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 8 points per game, 3 rebounds, 25% from 3 only this week. He's been efficient overall this season. He's been really, really good for the Grizzlies. He's down to have some low weeks at some point. Alex Sarr, I think, only played in 1 game, and I think he got hurt this week. Yeah, so kind of just ignore the stats with this one. Alex Sarr has been fun. Reece Shea, he's back, and he's hooping this week. I was going to say, I was watching his highlights from just like last night or whatever. He just had like a 30-point game or whatever. So maybe the injury that took him out for like a month or something like that, sometimes that gives these guys a chance to step back, look at things, be like, okay, let me gather, let me watch, let me learn, right? He's a smart player. I've never said he's not a smart player, just shots not falling right now. Shots been falling in 3 games this week, so exciting stuff. We'll see if Reece Shea can keep it going. Zach Edey kind of just playing his role at this point, right? Yeah, 50% from the field, 7 points, 6.5 rebounds, a block and a half. Perfect. Keep doing that, Zach Edey. We're proud of you for that. Dalton Connect got closer to 20 minutes a game this week, did he not? I'm doing great with this right now. Good for me. Almost 10 points a game. Shot it well from 3. We'll see where he fits in the rotation by the end of all these trades that are probably going to happen for the Lakers this week. Tristan Da Silva with the bigger boys back. He's been playing a lot better. I know. There we go. That's what we like to see. 8-9 points. We're starting to get the field goal percentage up. Good. Let's keep seeing these numbers rise, Da Silva. Good stuff, my boy. Yves Missy had a bad week. I know he had a bad week. Let me pull up Missy here. Yeah, 27% from the field, 2 points per game, 8 rebounds. It's going to happen every once in a while. I wouldn't stress about it too much. Bub Carrington is struggling, to say the least, right now. Yep, 3 points per game through 4 games. Really poor efficiency. Young point guard on a really bad team. Really, there's 2 people performing well on the Wizards at this point. Jordan Poole is having a pretty damn good season, actually, like a really good season just of individual basketball. And Alex Sarr is playing good basketball on one half of the court, and every other night he plays well offensively, basically. So I can't really fault anyone else. It's just a struggle. Khalil Ware, though, again, continues to kind of hoop, right? He's hooping. He's got to be moving up the list right now. I mean, 10 points per game this last week, 8.5 rebounds, getting you a block. Really efficient from the field again. Great stuff. Let's see Khalil Ware continue to climb up this list, because he's probably right now, like, he's climbing up the list pretty fast for me. Keyshawn George, again, the efficiency just hasn't been there, and the defensive intensity is continuing to get worse, in my opinion, which is kind of a concern. But again, it is hard to go get your ass kicked every night when you've been a good basketball player your whole life. I will continue to say that. I don't see as much of the potential in him quite as much, so we'll see. But we are hoping for the big fella. Ryan Dunn, not as good of a basketball week this week. 4 points per game, not too efficient. The minutes have been cut down pretty significantly as of late, but man, he comes up big on defensive possessions. AJ Mitchell is still out right now. Ron Holland had a pretty bad week, if I remember correctly as well. Look, it's not a great rookie class. All right, 4 points per game, 3 rebounds, really inefficient all around. Keeps bringing the energy, though, so we'll give it to him. And then Kyle Filipowski is there. I know, I don't even remember really seeing him this week, but he was out there, apparently, and for 18 minutes a game, really. I was watching Jazz film. Why did I not notice him? I guess because he's not really doing anything. He probably was hitting, like, just 3-point... Well, no, he wasn't hitting 3-pointers, actually. I can confirm that, so he's just getting little dump-offs and stuff like that, so fair enough. Fair enough. If we can go talk about like other rookies and guys out there, I know Reed Shepherd, he didn't really play much this week, is what it is for him. Tajon Salon, he's actually finally got moved down to the G League, which is really good, and he was hooping down there in the G League for the Swarm, which is good for him. And man, when you watch him play, the talent is there, y'all. If you all haven't gone, go watch them Tajon Salon highlights down in the G League, and you go, wow, that's a big-ass dude moving pretty interestingly. The jumper, we got to work on that a little bit, which we figured would be the case coming in. It was weird that he was hitting from the beginning, actually, so we'll watch out for that. Donovan Clingan, we need to get him more minutes, man, because what was he getting? I'm going to guess like 18-ish minutes? No, not even 12 minutes per game this week. 1 point per game, about 5 rebounds. Again, not getting a ton of minutes, so is what it is. Trailblazers, make a trade. Let this guy get on the court. He's good. Rob Dillingham continues to hoop, though, now that they're finally giving him some minutes. The Timberwolves are actually playing both him and Noel, or whatever, a decent amount of minutes, and Terrence Shannon Jr. supposedly coming back, so let's see if we can get him on the court, because, hey, Dillingham's been a pretty good positive for this team, and you know why? Because they need some offense, and they've got some offense, but then the Timberwolves go, oh, but he's not very good on defense. It's like, oh, well, guess what? Everybody else on the team is good on defense. Just put the rookie on the court. Let Ant have some help, for God's sake. And now Ant gets to the hoop more. Oh, so smart, us, very good. Yeah, no, that's that's me. It's not that complicated, and people overcomplicate things sometimes. Cody Williams, has he? I don't think he played this week. Nope, he is down in the G League, where that's probably where he needs to be for the time being. Buzelis actually had a pretty good week for the Bulls, so we'll give Buzelis some credit. Again, in the half court, don't really like watching him play a ton, but in transition, he's fun. I like the energy he plays with. He's really trying defensively, so I'll give him credit for that, but doesn't mean I wouldn't trade him if given the chance. So that's just me as a Bulls fan talking about it right now. Devin Carter's been rough so far to start his career. Obviously, he's coming back from injury, trying to get acquainted out on the court, but it continues to be rough playings for him. Anyone else that I want to talk about here? I'm just going through the list, Is there anyone else I really want to highlight? Like I said, we talked about Terrence Shannon a little bit. Yo, we got to talk about Collier. Let's talk about Isaiah Collier, who still statistically has to be one of the worst players in basketball, right? So we have Cody Williams down here. We have, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. And then we have Collier. Oh no. Oh no. But yeah, Collier's he's creeping up though. He's creeping up. He's trying to get back into the list. He's trying to catch Ariel Huckporty and Xavier Tillman right now. But Collier's getting a ton of minutes as of late. 11, 12 points per game, 7.5 assists. Those are pretty nuts numbers, actually. Like 3.5 rebounds. He's an incredible physical specimen. He just does not know what he's doing on a basketball court right now. And we kind of knew that, and he can't shoot the three-pointer, so we'll see. Because they don't play Keyshawn George. Not Keyshawn George, Keontae George as much now for Utah, which is interesting to me, but they're trying to see what they have. I totally get it. Anybody else that we really want to focus on? I guess we can talk about Justin Edwards again. It's been cool to see him get some minutes. Again, he was like the #1 player in his high school class. Kind of just went one and done anyway, went undrafted by Philly, but continued to put up not bad numbers. Honestly, not bad numbers at all. So definitely a guy we're going to want to watch. Once he hits more of the game's minimum and stuff, he'll probably appear on this list at some point. So shout out Justin Edwards, man. Shout out Justin Edwards. Anyway, let's go take a look at the standings. Alrighty, y'all, quick look through the standings. The Cleveland Cavaliers still just kind of running away with things. 6-4 as of late. Same with the Celtics here. It's been kind of like up and down as they've kind of had some players in and out of their rotations and stuff. Like Drew Holiday's been a little bit rougher for the Celtics. Evan Mobley's been in and out of the lineup. Jared Allen in and out at times too. So it's fine. They're just trying to make it to the All-Star break right now, trying to keep people fresh. That's not uncommon. The Knicks been pretty good as of late, but we never found out, like, OG Anunoby's fine, right? Like, we found out that he was okay. That's probably why I didn't put it on, like, the news list. What's our positive OG Anunoby injury update? Yeah, it looked bad. It's not actually going to be bad. That would have been devastating for the Knicks. We're good there. So we can still try to make it work with it. Just 5 players basically on their team. The Pacers, they've been running, man. Those boys been running. Tyrese Halliburton playing a lot better. That obviously makes the engine move a little bit faster. We'll see if they end up making any deals, as they've been involved in a lot of trades. The Bucks, Giannis and Dame continue to play well. The rest of it, always going to be a big question, right? Can this team play any defense? We'll see. Can they find a rotation that works a bit better for them? We'll see. Are they going to trade Chris Middleton? We'll see. A lot of questions with this team still. The Miami Heat, they're the 6th seed. They're floating around, man. They're losing more games than they're winning right now, but they are trying their damnedest. There's not many teams, I think, that could fight through this stuff, but man, they're trying. The Detroit Pistons, 500. Just keep going, Detroit. Just keep going. Orlando Magic, they are struggling. They are struggling right now, and we knew when the injuries happened that it was going to be rough for them. They're fighting. They're fighting. It's not going well, but they're fighting. So we'll see if the Magic can end up like crawling back once guys kind of get their legs back under them at some point this season. I'd like to believe that's possible. Like, the Magic are better than the Pistons. Depending on what happens with the Heat, I might take them over the Heat. Everything after that is up for debate for me, so I guess we'll see. Then we go all the way down to the Hawks at the 9, who are 22-27 at a 9, which is rough. The Hawks, they might just continue to drop off, which isn't good for my Chicago Bulls, who are the 10 seed again at 21-28. They're losing games right now, which is good, but so are the Hawks, and so are the Magic. I'm trying to get lower. The Sixers are picking up a little bit. It's just they can never get all their guys on the court again, so I need you guys to start winning some basketball games. The Nets, they're trying to lose as much as possible, but they won the last 2 games, so try harder, I guess. The Raptors and the Hornets, they're booty buns or whatever. The Raptors, they've won more games recently, right? Yeah, like 7-3, but I can't tell you why. Who have they been playing as of late? That's got to be like part of it, right? So they lost to the Bulls. They beat the Wizards. There was the Pelicans in there, the Hawks. Okay, yeah, no, they've just played an ass schedule as of late. That's more so what it is. So there you go, Toronto. It's a little bit fluky. And the Wizards, they won a game. Good job, Washington. Good job. You guys are a joke. Do better, Washington. Do better. I saw somebody suggest Jordan Poole should be traded to the Magic. That would be sick. That would actually be so sick. I'm here for it. And again, if you think that's a weird trade or whatever, go watch some Jordan Poole highlights, man. Dude's been hooping this year. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they just keep doing what they're doing. Again, they're super happy about that Luka trade because they have the Mavericks first round pick in 2028, which is just nuts. But they continue to roll. They've been having guys in and out of the lineup as well, and they just continue to go. The Houston Rockets discovered that Amen Thompson is the best player on their basketball team the past couple weeks, which I've been trying to say since they drafted him. And yeah, it's very, very exciting to see people catching up with this guy. Him and Asar Thompson are so good. I think Asar Thompson has a different skill set than Amen personally. Like, I see one as more of like a ball handler type of guy that can create a little bit more offense. I see one as more of the off-ball type guy in Asar, right? I do think they're both just as talented as each other, but you have to remember Asar's coming back from blood clots and stuff like that. Remember, last year Asar was looking better than Amen, so things to remember. The Grizzlies, they're running, man. They are just running through people right now. I'll be curious to see who they kind of compile to try to make a trade offer with. The Nuggets, we're going to see, man, can they get any bench? Now that we've seen Luka can be traded, does this mean Zeke Naji can be traded? They've been trying to put Zeke Naji on the court, have they not? As of late, like, let me see. Yeah, they got Zeke Naji on the court. Look at this. 6 points per game, 3 rebounds, 75% from the field, 5 blocks. No way that's real. Okay, guys, we're going into the weekly data in and of itself. Oh, you guys get to see, like, me highlighting people and everything in here. You guys can just ignore that. You guys can ignore that. Let's go over to Zeke Naji over here. Where are we at? So, where do we go to blocks per game? 5 blocks. Wow. Is that accurate? Oh, it was just one game, though. Oh, it's just one game. That's why. Okay, my bad. But look how good Zeke Naji is. Somebody buy him. Come on, somebody buy him. Like, you want to. You want to pay him $8 million over the next, like, 4 years or whatever. Just do it. The Lakers. I was very prepared to say, they've been hooping recently. JJ Redick's got this team in a great system, trying to keep them more disciplined and everything. Like what they're doing. They don't have Anthony Davis anymore. They have a Luka Doncic who isn't playing right now. They're going to make a bunch more trades this week. Stay tuned. The Clippers, I'm impressed. They're still here. They're still 8 games above 500. Let's keep it going then. Why the hell not? Kawhi's looking like Kawhi. The Timberwolves, still don't like watching them. I'm going to keep saying it. The Mavericks, who have been struggling without a Luka Doncic, just added an Anthony Davis, which is better than not having a Luka Doncic. But yeah, all the opinions that you guys can go see on my other videos and everything. Let's see what happens with this group, man. That is a tough task for a coaching staff to adjust to, and a team in general. The Phoenix Suns, will they end up making a trade? I'm sure they'd like to. The Sacramento Kings, will they trade Fox? We'll see. The Warriors, will they do anything, or are they just going to upset their fans? The Spurs, they got Wemby. I don't care if they don't make the playoffs. I don't really think that they probably should care that much. I know some people will say otherwise. This team's got a long road ahead. A lot of time. I don't think they should go for Fox either. Just my opinion. The Trailblazers, they've been winning. Yeah, they've been winning some games. Scoot Henderson, balling. Again, as of late. Starting to see a little bit of hope out of this kid again, which is good. Where are we at for the season on Scoot Henderson? Are we starting to get up there? Look at this. 13 points per game, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Shooting league average from 3, maybe a little bit above. The field goal percentage a little bit rough, but you know what? DeAndre Ayton, get out of the way. DeAndre Ayton actually had a really good week as well, but he does it in kind of ineffective ways in terms of team victory and stuff. But yeah, he had a good week. I remember seeing his numbers and everything. So hey, there you guys go, Trailblazers. Y'all got something going for you right there. Pelicans, DeJounte Murray down. At least you have Trey Murphy. And the Jazz, just collecting second-round picks right now. They're just rubbing their hands slowly together and be like, oh, well, we won't be out of this for long. We're building something here. Just you wait until we get our lengthy white boy, Cooper Flagg. Oh, you know what? We should say, when Drew Eubanks got traded, that's a sad day in Utah. When a lengthy white leaves the Utah Jazz, that means a moment of silence. So let's please take a moment of silence to remember the fallen lengthy white for the Utah Jazz. Thank you. Okay, that's it. That's the recap for this week, y'all. I don't know. I'm delirious. I was up too late. Let's do the comment of the video. All right, the comment of the video comes from our Luka Doncic traded for Anthony Davis video right here. We're giving it to Drew A. Thomas here, who said, the Pistons beat the Kings, and that caused them to fire Mike Brown. The Pistons beat the Mavs, and they trade Luka. Which team will the Pistons change next? The Pistons winning games has disrupted the aura of the NBA so much that they're just causing havoc whenever they win now. It's like a tear in reality. So I don't know. The Spurs better watch out, man. If they beat the Spurs, Wemby might wake up at 5'8" the next day. I don't know. But yeah, no, great comment. Elite comment. Hey, go go leave me a comment. I respond to every single one, as you guys can see. Go join the Discord, links in the description. Being on the Discord last night when the trade broke was absolutely nuts, so go be a part of it and everything. They also have a little 2K league on there that they're doing that I think is really interesting. I'm going to do something with that at some point down the line, but man, a lot of fun going on down there. But hey, enjoy the next week of basketball, y'all. We got the trade deadline. I'm going to try to be online and covering every single trade going down, so be there with me. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you later.